The Quiet Revolution: How Black Women Are Redefining American Entrepreneurship. Today, I want to take you on a journey that challenges everything you think you know about entrepreneurship in America. It's a story that isn't being told loudly enough, a revolution happening right under our noses, led by those who have historically been pushed to the margins, yet are now quietly reshaping our economic landscape. I've recently had the profound privilege of sitting down with Quita Bryant, a visionary whose work has fundamentally transformed how we understand Black women's entrepreneurship in America. Kita isn't just a researcher or advocate, she's a catalyst for systemic change, wielding data like a sword and stories like shields in the battle for economic justice. Her brilliance lies not just in identifying problems, but in illuminating pathways forward that have already helped thousands of women claim their rightful place in our economy. What she shared with me wasn't just enlightening, it was revolutionary. And today I'm going to share with you three insights that might forever change how you see entrepreneurship, innovation, and the future of business in America. Let me start with something that might shock you. Nearly half, yes, half of all new businesses started in 2024 were founded by women. And who's leading this entrepreneurial revolution? Black and Asian American Pacific Islander women. Let that sink in for a moment. This isn't just impressive, it fundamentally shatters the narrative that entrepreneurship remains primarily a white male domain. It's a seismic shift happening right before our eyes. Yet most of us haven't fully grasped its significance. What makes this even more remarkable is the context. In April 2025 alone, Black women lost 106,000 jobs in the traditional workforce, 106,000 jobs in a single month. Yet instead of merely surviving these setbacks, many are transforming them into opportunities to build something of their own, something that can't be taken away with a pink slip or corporate restructuring. This isn't just resilience, this is revolution. During our conversation, Keita emphasized three critical insights that I believe everyone needs to hear and internalize. First, Black women are genuinely at the forefront of entrepreneurial growth in America. Despite facing unique challenges related to funding and employment security, they're launching businesses at historic rates. The data doesn't just suggest this, it screams it. Second, the persistent gender gap in venture capital means female founders, especially Black women, must often rely on creative strategies and community support. Yet, when given resources, their impact is transformative, creating ripple effects that benefit entire communities. Third, leveraging data driven advocacy can unlock doors previously sealed shut. The power of evidence based approaches to changing systems cannot be overstated. Let me tell you about Catherine Finney, whose story exemplifies what's possible when entrepreneurial vision meets intentional advocacy. Catherine is a trained epidemiologist who built one of America's top fashion blogs, The Budget Fashionista, back in 2003. After a decade of success, she sold it, but instead of simply enjoying her personal triumph, she used those proceeds and her platform as a launch pad for systemic change. She faced widespread skepticism about funding disparities for Black women entrepreneurs. The traditional venture capital world wasn't just unwelcoming, it was often openly dismissive. But Catherine didn't accept this reality. She challenged it with the most powerful tool at her disposal: data. Data to break the silence became her mantra. She launched Digital Undivided to support tech founders from underrepresented communities. Through rigorous data collection and strategic visibility, she built an organization that has helped over 2,500 Black women secure more than $100 million in funding. Think about that for a moment. $100 million flowing into businesses that might otherwise have been overlooked, underestimated, or flatly rejected. $100 million creating jobs, building wealth, and solving problems in communities that have historically been underserved. This isn't just business, it's transformation. The broader trends are equally compelling. In 2024, we witnessed a record high in women led business creation, with 49% of all new U.S. businesses started by women. This trend is particularly pronounced among younger generations and communities of color. While gender based disparities persist across industries, with sectors favored by men receiving more capital and investment attention, there's been a significant increase in labor force participation among millennial and Gen Z Black and AAPI women. Many are leveraging their workforce experience to launch entrepreneurial ventures. We're seeing a shift toward parity between male and female business owners among Gen X, millennials, and Gen Zs. This didn't happen overnight. It's built on decades of rising educational attainment and workforce skill development that laid the foundation for today's entrepreneurial boom. Women now dominate community services and personal assistance startups, particularly in healthcare, social assistance, and retail. They're redefining who gets seen as an entrepreneur and which industries drive local economies in America today. But, and this is a significant, but there's still an enormous gap to bridge. Fewer than 7% of global venture capital dollars go toward companies founded solely by women, with even smaller shares directed to Black female led teams. Systemic bias in investment decisions and limited network access continues to restrict capital flow to diverse founders. While there have been slight improvements in seed stage funding, increasing by about 3%, the opportunity remains massive, an estimated $5 trillion globally. A growing movement of advocates and investors is pushing the industry toward diversity, equity, and inclusion benchmarks. We're seeing the emergence of funds and incubators specifically for female and BIPOC founders, showing that progress is possible with intentional action. The potential impact is staggering. A more inclusive investment landscape could unlock unprecedented growth and innovation across industries worldwide. As Kita told me, when I look at these trends, I don't just see statistics. I see women who are tired of waiting for permission or recognition. I see women who are creating their own tables instead of begging for seats at existing ones. Maya Angelou once said, "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated." The women in these stories aren't just surviving defeats, they are transforming them into launching pads for something greater. Scripture reminds us in Proverbs 31:16 that the virtuous woman considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hands, she plants a vineyard. Today's Black women entrepreneurs are modern embodiments of this ancient wisdom, considering opportunities, investing resources, and creating abundance not just for themselves, but for generations to come. I want to share an affirmation that emerged from my conversation with Kita. I am not just building a business, I am creating legacy, community, and possibility. My entrepreneurial journey is an act of radical self love and collective liberation. Let that sink in for a moment. Your business, whether it's a side hustle you're nurturing or a full time enterprise you're scaling, isn't just about profit. It's about purpose. It's about creating spaces where you and others can thrive without compromising your humanity or dignity. As Keita emphasized, data without action is just information. The true power comes when we use what we know to change what we do. For Catherine Finney, that meant creating digital, undivided, and genius guild. For the thousands of women launching businesses in 2024 and 2025, it means taking the leap despite uncertainty. For advocates pushing for more equitable venture capital distribution, it means persistent strategic pressure on systems designed to exclude. So, where do we go from here? What is our collective responsibility in the face of these revelations? I believe we stand at a crossroads. We can continue to accept the status quo, a world where talent, innovation, and determination are routinely overlooked because of gender and race. Or we can become active participants in this quiet revolution. For investors in this room, I challenge you to examine your portfolios. What percentage of your investments go to women founders, to Black women founders? If the answer doesn't reflect the entrepreneurial reality I've shared today, ask yourself why, and then commit to change. For entrepreneurs, seek out and support networks led by and for underrepresented founders. Your solidarity matters. Your mentorship matters. Your willingness to share resources and opportunities matters. For everyone else, become conscious consumers. Research the ownership of companies you support. Amplify the voices and businesses of Black women entrepreneurs in your communities. Small actions multiplied across millions create seismic shifts. The question isn't whether Black women will continue to revolutionize entrepreneurship in America. They already are, with or without adequate support. The question is whether we will recognize this revolution for what it is, not just a correction of historical injustices, but a glimpse into a more innovative, equitable, and prosperous future for everyone. As we leave here today, I want you to ask yourself, how might our communities and our economy transform if every aspiring entrepreneur had equal access not only to opportunity, but also to real resources? What bold step will you take this week to uplift yourself or another entrepreneur striving along their journey? The future of American entrepreneurship is being written right now by hands that have historically been denied the pen. It's time we not only pay attention, but actively ensure that this time the story ends differently. Thank you.